and I am the creator and owner of this store, Le Potager. This store I opened about 19 years ago. In fact, Lillian's house this year is celebrating its 100-year anniversary.
Wow.
Pretty cool, right? So all the floors, the ceilings, most everything you see in the house here is original. A lot of the gardens I redid out in front, but the structure of the house and everything is all original. So in the 19 years that I have been here in this house sharing it with Lillian, I've had lots of things happen to me with Lillian. Nothing ever scary, just Lillian has always been like a positive energy, a positive spirit. And the first thing that ever happened to me was back in 2001. So I opened the store back in 2000. So about a year later, I think Lillian had kind of seen, I was married at the time, and my ex-wife and I had been kind of decorating this whole house, and I think she was happy with the way we had put it together. And so she left us a little calling card or a message. And one of the traits that Lillian likes to do, and I was told this from the previous owner, was when she was handing me the keys, my friend Linda said to me, she goes, "John, did I ever tell you about Lillian?" And I said, "No, Linda, who's Lillian?" She goes, "I didn't tell you?" I go, "No." She goes, "Oh my gosh, well let me tell you about Lillian." So she started telling me about the spirit and Lillian who built the house as she's handing me the keys, to take over. And I'm like, okay. But,
too late now.
So, yeah, too late now. So anyways, she told me one of the things Lillian likes to do, or one of her trademarks was, if she likes something, or she will turn a light on. She'll turn lights on and turn lights off. So if I turn this lamp off at night, good chance during the year when I come in, this is the only light on. It's just kind of like her way of saying, hello. And she also would like to lean little things against the bases of objects. So I was told that she didn't like, sometimes she didn't like certain cherubs or angels. And so if they had a wreath around their head, let's say at Christmas time, you might find it laying at the base of the object or leaning up against it. And that was just kind of her way. So these were the things that I was told. So again, reluctantly, I took the keys, So getting back to the story, so about a year later, my ex and I, we used to carry a lot of French ribbons, and we would go to France and other parts of Europe to bring back ribbons. And we had a little Eiffel Tower lamp in a cabinet similar to this antique one that's right next to me here. And I had a little Eiffel Tower lamp, a metal lamp that was on the third shelf. And the bottom two shelves is where we kept all our spools of ribbon, like what I have behind the cabinet now. So every night when we would leave, I would turn off all the lights and I would turn off that little Eiffel Tower lamp. That was kind of like my last little thing that I would turn off before I shut the door. And we came in the next morning and through the front door, and I noticed that there was a light on, and it was the Eiffel Tower lamp. And I said to Tracy, I said, "I turned that off last night, didn't I?" She goes, "Yeah, I saw you turn it off before you went." I go, "Well, it's on." And I was looking at it because I noticed that there was something leaning up against the base of the lamp. And what it was, and it's really kind of cool, and the Knops guys that you guys have all met on the tour have picked up all sorts of energy on this. So I'll get the person closest. Who can read that in black?
I'll start, my eyesight's horrible.
You see, it says Lillian. This is an old ribbon label, and it wasn't in a frame, it was just the label. You can see that.
He liked it.
And I know you guys way back there can't see it, but you can make your way around. But it was just the label, and it was leaning up against the base of this Eiffel Tower lamp, which again was on the third shelf, and all the ribbon was on the bottom. And we didn't know where this label came from because we knew all our ribbons. And so it was leaning up against the base. It said Lillian, and I was just like, wow, look at this. And Tracy, my ex, she was never too comfortable with all this, but I was fine. And so underneath Lillian it says patent number 78. Lillian died in 1978 in the house here at the age of 90. And it also has underneath it purple. It was one of her favorite colors, I was told by her niece. And next to purple it says 2321, and for the longest time I couldn't figure out what that meant. And somebody on the tour mentioned that maybe that's the time of night that she passed away. Lillian died from a heart attack in the house here at the age of 90 in the evening. So we don't know exactly the time, but maybe the police records would be a little bit closer to that. But so this little calling card was left on the lamp, and so we've put it into a frame after the first year of the tour, trying to hold up this little label. But again, lots of energy on this. So this was not a scary thing, but just something that, I mean, I still get goosebumps when I tell the story. But so I've always kept it right here in this frame. And you guys, like I said, before you leave, if you want to look at it closer, you can. Just make sure I get it back, because that's my gig here. Right? So another thing that's kind of happened here, and I could go on forever with stories. I've had lots of things, but it's always the lights going on. And usually when I'm on a business trip, one of the girls that's working here will call me and say, Lillian's turning the lights on. And this happened about 6-7 years ago, where she was turning them on every night because a new girl was working. And so I said, well, I'll have a talk with her when I get back. My friend even had her husband watch her turn all the lights off one night. She goes, I'm not going crazy, I'm just telling you. I said, well, it's just Lillian. So when I came back, I went up to her room, which you guys will be going up into. And I had a talk with her, and I said, listen, I said, I appreciate you, looking out for your house and all that stuff, but you got to cool it with the lights, because I pay the electric bill, you don't. And, you're turning them on all the time, doesn't help me. So she's been pretty good at that, but in the fall, when the tour kicks in, it's really kind of cool. She does do these things. And so kind of the last story I'll tell you, and it's, again, nothing scary, but you see the pillow? It says Fullerton High School. You guys will get the full guess, right? That. So this was a friend of mine used to work with me here at the store. Jennifer, and her youngest son Spencer was class president of Fullerton High School. And when he was graduating, she wanted to get him something cool, like vintage or antiqued, for his remembering his time at Fullerton High School. So she was on eBay one night, and she's just looking through Fullerton High School vintage things, and came across this pillow and said, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll get him that. He could put that on his, bed or in a shelf or what have it. You guys are seeing all the thing. Anyways, on the back is when she was looking at it. She was already determined to get it, and then you see what it says on the back. I'll show you guys. Lillian Yeager. This was on eBay, and this pillow's from like the early 1920s. And you know how many millions of things are sold on eBay, right? And for us to just come across it, so you can see it's got a crew team, a rowing team. It says DB Dodge Brothers, which was Lillian's business, and she was a sponsor of the crew team here in Fullerton. And back in the early 1920s, the whole area over near Harbor and Chapman, where the McDonald's is and Starbucks and all the way up to the college, that whole area used to flood out because there was no riverbed or channel built in yet. So they actually had crew teams, rowing teams that would compete against each other. So she used to sponsor them and watch them from her office. So this pillow we came across, and we kept it here at the house. Spencer never got this as a present. So we've kept it here. So I think it's kind of a cool thing that this has come back to her house. And the woman that had it, that found it, it was up in Hemet. For you guys know where that is. It was in I know it sounds corny, but it's true. It was in an old trunk up in the attic. Her parents had passed away, and her sisters went to clean out the house, and they found this trunk up in the attic. And in the trunk, all these old vintage clothes, and at the very bottom of the trunk was this pillow. And none of them knew where this came from. They didn't have any attachment to it or anything, and so they decided, well, let's just put it on eBay and sell it. It just happened to be that one time that we got on eBay to look for something, I think Lillian kind of steered it back to her house here. So it's kind of a cool thing, but it's, again, one of those cool things where Lillian's spirit has stayed alive in this house. So when you're going to go up the stairs, be careful, because I'm having my open house going on this weekend. So there's a lot of Christmas and stuff in here. So watch your elbows and so forth. It's kind of tight. But you're going to be going up into Lillian's room, and that's her original bedroom that she lived in till the age of 90. And then I don't know if Bob told you, but see if you can guess where in the house, or if you pick up anything, where Lillian passed away. Okay? So you guys are going to follow up this way and go right up the